Fallout New Vegas. Now, this game is getting old. It's making me realize I have officially reached my UNC status. Are you a certified New Vegas UNC? Let me know down below in the comments. And this is in fact the second time recording this video. I know, poor me, but I just wasn't happy with the first video. Today I want to look at Fallout New Vegas and truly ask the question, is Fallout New Vegas still worth playing in 2026? Is it actually worth going back to? I'm not going to do a full review of this game as that's been done to death. I'm looking at this game from a modern perspective, looking as if, you know, it was a new game released today, because the people who will be going back to play this game are hardcore fans like myself of the Fallout franchise that want to go back and relive the New Vegas memories, and for new people who will no doubt fall in love with the TV show second season, now focusing around New Vegas. But does this game even hold up anymore? I'm going to be brutally honest and take a deep look at Fallout New Vegas in a modern setting.
I'm tired, boss.
Now, the sad truth and the reality of Fallout New Vegas today is it doesn't look like this, okay? This has got 600 mods plus on it to actually make it look like a semi-decent game graphically. And I understand that graphics aren't everything. I myself don't care about graphics if the art style is good, but sadly New Vegas lacks in many departments when it comes to gameplay. I think many modern day RPG fans coming from the likes of Baldur's Gate 3 or even newer Fallout games will not feel happy playing New Vegas. You won't be finding, you know, rare tier items around every single corner or legendary gear. It's not that type of game, and that's what makes it special. New Vegas is a masterpiece because of its writing, its lore, and the world building. Now, a lot of people give Bethesda hatred, and I myself am a part of that because I think they don't truly understand the Fallout franchise. Obsidian got a lot of praise back then when they released New Vegas because they understood the mission. They were bringing the OG Fallout into a 3D game environment, and they succeeded. But one thing that Fallout New Vegas lacks that I can look back on and say in retrospect is the environmental storytelling.
Who's laughing now?
Compared to Fallout 3, where it peaked with Bethesda, New Vegas does lack some finer nuance in its layered storytelling. So this is the main point I want to make with this video. One of the main reasons that make the Fallout games so successful and special, if you ask me, is because of this layered storytelling it has. It has the stories set 200 years ago in said environment, and then the layered story on top of that to give it this double layered storytelling approach. And that's not an easy thing to do. And you need to think about a storyline that is captivating, that makes sense. That is what gets you going from room to room, reading all of these different notes and audio logs and all this kind of stuff. And then you need to feed that thematically into the current setting in the wasteland. What's happened to this existing location 200 years after the bombs have dropped. This is what makes Fallout so special. It's this layered storytelling that I don't see many people talking about. New Vegas is a fantastic game, a masterpiece, one of the best Fallout games, if not the best Fallout game, because of the factions, the different ideologies, the philosophies that they share, and the fact that you can actually shape the world around you. You have actual weight and consequences to your actions. The reputation system, the faction system, the disguise system, so many cool RPG mechanics. But when you compare it to some older Fallout games like 1 and 2, and even that of Fallout 3, some of the environmental storytelling is just not as good, in my opinion. It doesn't mean it's a worse game, but I do think they missed that in retrospect. And I think that's also down to the location. This is in the Mojave wasteland, which is a lot more spaced out compared to Fallout 3. In the DC ruins, you have much more opportunity to tell these layered storylines. So the reason I wanted to make this video today, and I do hope you enjoy it by the way, if you are, please do subscribe if you're new, and thank you so much my returning wise ones for watching the video. And please consider dropping a thanks, letting me know your thoughts down below in the comments, supporting the show any way that you can, as I really have to save up for a new microphone, so any support does mean a lot. But the reason I'm making this video is because I feel so many people are going to go back to Fallout New Vegas after watching the show, and it's very insulting and upsetting that all Bethesda has done is told everyone to go back and play this decade-plus-year-old game at this point with no updates, no fixes, anything like that. You know, a full remake would have made a lot more sense business-wise and for the fans at this point to perhaps flesh out some of the amazing things New Vegas just slightly missed, because you have to remember this game was rushed, and the fact that it's considered a masterpiece, which I think 100% it is, even though it was a rushed game, it just shows you that New Vegas was lightning in a bottle, and I don't think we're going to get that again. The fact that they managed to craft such a unique, authentic Fallout experience, you have to commend Obsidian back then for doing this. But there were things that were rushed, like the campfire system, survival mechanics, the hardcore system that was in place, and fleshing out the world in more detail. The Legion was going to have its own original town that you could go explore and understand more about their culture, instead of them being a kind of stereotypical bad guy that, yes, you could still side with, but it gave you a more of a nuanced approach looking at what the Legion did right, because they did take heavy inspiration from the Roman Empire. And if you know anything about me, I'm trying to create my own philosophy, which also builds principles from the Roman Empire, because you can't deny that the Legion does crush tribal mentality, and it gives the Wasteland a unifying umbrella to rally behind, even if it does do a lot of immoral actions. Remember, the Pax Romana, a period in history, is the longest amount of time any society has had a long period of peace, and that was down to the Roman Empire. Mr. House could have been a little bit more fleshed out, as well as some of the minor factions like the Great Khans. The Brotherhood, the Enclave, all of this would have had a lot more detail to it if they weren't rushed by Bethesda and other investors and all this kind of stuff. So the fact that New Vegas still came out to be an amazing game is crazy to me. But at this point, you have to think of New Vegas as an old dog, and in some ways it's asking to be put down. This game is tired, it's old, it doesn't function correctly, it's very difficult to set up. Unless you want to put in the time to put 600 mods onto it, it won't feel like a modern game. This game is janky when it comes to the gameplay.
I'm tired, boss.
But that isn't what made this game special. It is the writing, it is, like I said, the RPG systems that make it a true RPG, but it does lack in many areas that newer RPGs have come a long way since the years of New Vegas. There's so many reasons to love New Vegas. The reason I wanted to talk about this today is, does this game still hold up in 2026? Is Fallout New Vegas worth playing in 2026? Or will you be disappointed? Will it be better just to leave it in nostalgia? That is the hard question I want to answer. I do think that if you're like me, you can overlook New Vegas's shortcomings and enjoy it for what it is, vanilla, but it's not easy, okay? And for new Fallout fans, I think they will be left feeling disappointed because it's not a new game. It doesn't play like a new game. You can't expect it to. And I think it's incredibly stupid how Bethesda has told people to go back and play this game after the hype that the second season is going to create in the new year. And I just find it completely insane that this is the state of the Fallout franchise, to be honest.
Who's laughing now?
So if you are going to go back and play Fallout New Vegas in 2026, I highly recommend that you either mod it, take the time to learn how to mod it, which does take a lot of effort, but it is worth it in the end, or you will have to simply accept it for what it is. Enjoy the game for its writing. Enjoy the game for its deep themes, its amazing DLC, but don't expect to be finding, like in the newer Fallout games, rare loot, legendary weapons, legendary enemies. It's not that type of RPG. It's an RPG that actually makes you think. It's an RPG that actually expects something from you. It won't hold your hand. It won't tell you what to do 24/7. This is why the game is beloved. But I just feel that in a way, this second season might do damage because new players simply will look at this old game and think, why was it so beloved if they've never played it before? The things Fallout New Vegas does so well is simply unmatched, and like I said, a lot of it was just down to timing when it was created. Interesting locations, so many interesting side stories that kind of feed into each other unlike previous games, multiple different endings, incredible DLCs, amazing writing, characters that actually matter, so many different ways you can end quests or do things, so many skill checks that make your character feel unique and that you're actually creating your own character. But this game does simply lack in basic functionality, bugs, NPCs acting like dumb Bethesda Oblivion NPCs. You can see seams in the environment. Sometimes it feels like this game is stitched together, especially today, and the gameplay is anything but smooth.
You're in the chess club.
It's good to look back at these games, remember why they are so special, but I also think it's important to give some criticism as to what just timing does to video games. You know, I myself play mostly older games, and a lot of them hold up so well, but when I truly think about it, apart from the writing, the world building, you know, the reason what makes New Vegas special, that all still holds up. But as an actual game, you know, a game that is fun to play, for example, when I boot up Halo OG, that's always going to be fun to play. Fallout New Vegas is not so easy to get into, so I just wanted to make this video as a way to explain to new fans what to expect from Fallout New Vegas. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace out.